preferable. Yeah.
Okay, if I could start you out, I would do it with we selected captains today. On defense, Max Crosby was elected captain for the defense. On offense, Geno Smith was elected captain, and AJ Cole was elected captain for special teams. So real proud of those guys. They have been leading since the moment we got here, and they're exactly the right guys. Obviously, these guys voted them almost unanimously. So really proud to represent our club with those guys.
With that kind of process, was it something that you let the players sort of vote on it? What's sort of your process?
Yeah,
on that?
it's just a democratic process. You get to vote for whoever you want to vote for. No redlining.
How exciting are you after a year off to be back in the game planning mode?
Yeah, I don't know how to measure how excited I am, but this has just been so much fun, really, to get into this with this club and this ownership, and with all the challenge that goes along with that, able to create our own roster with all that freedom that we got. Johnny and I really feel great about the process that we've gone through. We continue to compete to add to it. But it's worked out really well, and it represents the hard work that we put in. It represents the time. It represents the culture and philosophy that we're standing for. We added a lot of really physical, tough guys, tough-minded guys, really competitive people, and that's only going to make you better. So it's really been fun, and we get a couple days, and then we're ready to rock and roll into the game plan. So it's really good.
How valuable is a week like this for you and for the players in a sense of rebooting, and now you can really focus and hone in on the 53?
Yeah,
guys?
we've been pointing to this is a bonus week for us as we talked about it, and we wanted to make it through it healthy, which we did, and so that we can take a break with really clear mind that we're ready to go. It feels like that. We'll come back on Monday and kick it into high gear, but we won't be changing anything because we already try to practice as hard as we can every day, and with all the effort that we can muster and the intensity that we can generate. So nothing's really going to change, but it feels great to be at this point because we're trying to get to these games, and it's finally here.
Well, you remember the old days when you would play 6 exhibition games,
Yeah, really.
and then go right into the regular season with no time to reassess or reset things.
Yeah, well, that's
how
called
much of an
evolution.
advantage is that for you?
That's evolution. That was nasty, back in the day, and all of the changes that have come about really are very much more thoughtful and directed at giving the players the best chance to be at their best. Back in the day, we just wore them out and then started playing, and so everybody was kind of in the dark ages back then. So, but this is good. This is a good process for them. We're kind of used to the rhythm of it, and also that hopefully the players will take advantage of it. Really, urge them to make good decisions on these next 4 days and get back here healthy and feeling good and early and no issues, no problems, so we can hit at full speed.
You mentioned coming out of training camp really healthy. How helpful has Alex Guerrero been in that process of coming in this offseason?
All I can tell you is we're pretty darn healthy right now, and we're very fortunate to be that way. And I don't remember. We have 2 guys that are banged up right now, so we feel very fortunate to be in that situation. There's a lot of clubs that would do anything to be there.
Now that you're through the process of selecting the roster, I guess 70, not 53 really, but what are the characteristics of the roster? What do you like about the roster that you have?
Well, what I like about it is we have a lot of guys that have come here on a personal mission to prove that they deserve to be here. And there's a bunch of chips on those shoulders now. I mean, these guys got something to prove. I feel the same way, and we've shared that kind of mentality, going through it. And I really like going to battle with these guys because of where their head's at, and they've proven it on the practice field and as we've worked. And now it's time to go. But it feels that there's a commonality about that, and I see it particularly on the defensive side.
Amari Cooper said you played a big role in recruiting him. I guess what was it that you saw in him? What did you like about him that you wanted to come here?
Well, he's been a great player. He's been a great performer. He's made a ton of big plays and big situations. It's not beyond his scope to come up and make the clutch play at the right time. He's big and strong. runs fantastic routes, and has always been a playmaker. So we thought a chance to add a guy like that with experience, really to help our young guys, might really suit us well. And so for Dante on the outside, they'll be doing a lot of the same stuff. I think Amari's way can affect him and help him come along. There's a lot of pressure for him to only be the only X over there that we're kind of going with, and so I think this really balances us out well, and I hope it really suits Jack and Dante.
You guys waived Thayer Mumford. You brought in Stone Forsythe. You obviously drafted him in Seattle. What do you see from him moving forward?
Stone's a legit right tackle. He's played on the left side as well, and I saw him late in preseason doing swinging. But he's a real physical, tough guy. You can't get any bigger. He's 6'8", but he's got a great mentality about it. That's why we picked him, but then we learned who he was and what he was all about. So when we had a chance to get him, we had to do what it took. And fortunately, he's with us. So he'll play right tackle, but he could well swing in games if we needed him to.
You mentioned Max and AJ as captains. You also have Daniel and Fulton Miller have been around since the Oakland days. What does it mean to have like a foundation of guys like that know the culture, know the building, know the organization to kind of lead the way?
Well, the culture's a little different now, and it's changed. But those guys bring us the history, and they bring us the connection, And this has been an incredible franchise for years. I mean, tons of years. And I go way back knowing that. And so for us to bring in our new way of looking at things to complement what has already been created here in the past, and to have those guys in exactly the points you're making is crucial. Colton has had a great camp, and he's had a great offseason. And I'm thrilled about the way he's performed and how he's come out of it healthy and ready to go. And he's battled every day. He hasn't missed a thing. So Max has been hugely important. There's something about the history in this particular situation of carrying the pain. It hasn't been good. It hasn't been what they want. And so they're as hungry as you can get. They're hungry as the guys coming in with the big chips on their shoulders. And we have had just no issues connecting, and what we're all about, how we want to go, how we want to do this. And it really, a lot of gratitude to those guys for helping that happen, because they could have, been clinging on to the old ways, and they have not been like that. They've been wide open from the start.
Would you characterize Kenny Pickett as having a chip on his shoulder?
Well, anybody's been traded as much as he has. That chip, that he carries that chip. I think he's got a traveling bag with it. He made a really good first impression out here. Really comfortable. Has picked stuff up amazingly fast for all of the systems he's been through. You'd think his brain could be all jumbled up, but really good learner. Good athletically out here, threw the ball really well. He's not even full speed yet. We haven't really let him take off and go because we want to save him through these next 4 days and get into game week. But really big first impression, and he seems to fit in well.
Pete, is there anything different about this version of yourself as a coach heading into your first regular season game as a Raider compared to your first game as a Seahawk, USC?
I'd have to ask me about that. There's a lot of similarities. The rhythm of putting the team together, implanting the way we think and the way we operate, and what's behind the philosophy and all of that, very similar. But because of where I am in my career, looking at this is like it's just such a joyful opportunity to me. I'm thrilled to be part of this place and in the position where it looks like all odds are against you, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, nothing wrong with that to me. The division we play in, I'm thrilled to be playing against the coaches that are in this division. I have so much respect for them, which that's no big deal because obviously they've earned that over the years. But it just makes it a little bit sweeter, Yeah, I really don't feel that much different, but yet there's some things that through the evolving of this last year that made a difference in the way I see things, and I've been able to implement and institute some things that I hadn't done before that I'm really excited about seeing the results. We'll see what happens, but the newness is the same. The new feeling about a new program and a new culture and all of that is the same, and we reached the point probably with the meeting we had this morning that we've kind of covered all the bases, and so we're ready to go.
What do you like about Brennan Jackson, what he brings to the Raiders?
Yeah, he's really physical and tough guy. We're really impressed with his motor chasing the football coming off the edge. He was effective in the running game and the passing game, but he just really, it's his mentality. He adds to the mentality that we're trying to instill in the whole club, and I think that he'll find it very comfortable with the mentality that we're asking for. Hard, tough, every day, grind it out, and I think he's going to be a nice fit for us. We'll see. I saw him one time, so I don't know.
Coach, when you evaluate the roster, obviously that secondary is probably the youngest group that you have on your team. Can you talk about the blessing and the curse of having a secondary that young, and how much of a role do you think Jeremy Chin will help with leading them?
I appreciate you giving me the choice, the blessing or the curse. I'm going with the blessing, if you don't mind. I'm excited about this group now. We're athletic and really fast. Everybody's attentive and tuned in. Nobody has any big agendas. This is a group that's really wired well, and there's a lot to teach and a lot to learn, particularly when you have real young corners. There's a lot for them to pick up in a short amount of time. So there's a challenge to that. And so we're going to try to take care of them and help them in the ways they need, and so that they can get off to a good start and we can build their confidence as we go. It's hard to be confident until you've really gone through it, and so that's the problem with playing rookies. I've never had an issue with that. I've always played young guys and helped them make it through it, and we'll do much of the same with our guys now. I think E. Stokes has done a really good, solid job of jumping in and owning his spot. Jeremy has given us real stability, and really Isaiah has done a fine job of just picking up, taking this next step in his career. He has a lot of opportunity to be in a leadership position on the back end and making calls and all of that, and he's done really well. We've got really good competition over there on the other side, and we'll see how that works out by the end of the week, but we'll keep it going, and a number of guys will play in the game. You'll see a lot of guys will be rolling through there.
All right, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay, was this an opportunity? Hear what the Raiders feel like for you?
Yeah, I think looking at this whole thing, these guys have been working for a long time since before I got here. So I'm taking it very seriously to be ready to go out there, whatever happens, and be ready to perform. So that's kind of just where my mindset is right now.
Coach said that there's guys on this roster that have chips on their shoulders. Would you be one of those guys?
Yeah, I think I can add to that. I really resonate with a lot of the guys here. I played against Max twice, and I think from the first snap to the last, we were going back and forth the entire game. So you want guys like that on your team, and he's a great one to have.
How challenging has the last 18 months been, and can you find stability here, you think?
Yeah, I'm just taking a day at a time. This is my third playbook in the last 12 months pretty much. So I've learned a lot of football. A lot of things are similar. It's the terminology that I'm really trying to get down. Constant communication with the coaches. My teammates in the huddle. I've never had to ask a question in the huddle before. This is the first time I'm asking some guys on some routes on conversions and stuff. So just taking a day at a time and figuring it out.
How much is it helping you to be in the situation where you don't have to play this weekend and you have a little bit more runway to learn the playbook, talk to Chip, ask questions, get answers?
Yeah, I think that's big. Since the second I got here, I was in the facility and been working nonstop. So, like I said, I want to be ready just in case. You never know what could happen. I want to be there for the team, a guy that they can rely on. So, just taking a day at a time and studying as much as I can.
What was your reaction to the news of the trade, and what was the process like for you coming to Las Vegas?
Yeah, there's not much time to think. You get the news at night. I was up at 4 a.m. on a flight. As soon as I landed, physical, into meetings, into practice. There's not much time to think, so it's just go, which kind of is better. You don't have time to sit there and think about what's going on. You're just reacting and being a football player. So, I'm enjoying it. I think it's a great place to be. The energy, the culture here, I could already tell from day one when I walked in here. It's in a great place. So, looking forward to adding to that.
How does this Chip Kelly offense fit with what you do?
I think, just looking at it early, he's good friends with Mark Whipple, who was my OC at the University of Pittsburgh. So there's a lot of similarities there. I'm going to call Coach Whip this weekend and talk to him some more about it. But a lot of the things that I did in college is similar to what he's doing. So I'm kind of taking the teaching I have from Coach Whip and utilizing it here without much coaching that I've been able to get yet. So just going off of instincts in that.
What have been your early impressions of working with Gino?
Yeah, Gino's awesome. We we got to work together every day in the off season. So it's actually crazy how this game works. He was like kind of my training partner. We were pushing each other every day in the weight room, on the field. We were throwing like 3 times a week. So it's really funny now that we're teammates and we're kind of picking up right where we left off. So he's an awesome guy to learn from. Here for him, whatever he needs. He's answering my questions. Obviously, I have a lot of them. I'm trying not to bother him too much, but it's a great relationship for sure.
What does that sense of comfort mean to you that you're walking in with, like you said, your training partner?
Yeah, it's great. It's great. I just know that first things first, the type of person he is. He's just a great human being. It's a great place to start. All the football stuff will come from me and what I'm learning in the system and everything. But, knowing I have a guy like that in the room, all the quarterbacks have been great so far. I trained with Cam actually in the summer. So it's a small world, the football scene. So it's great to have those guys in the room.
John Spytek spoke about the intangibles that you bring to this team, your mindset and what you bring to the culture. What would you say those things are?
Just work. It's just the way I've been for a really long time. And that I could tell that's the culture here. I'm going to do everything in my power to be ready for these guys. These guys have been, working a ton since the off-season program started. Like I said, I wasn't here for that. So, it's my job to do everything I can to be ready so I can be there for those guys.
What was that relationship?
Yeah, I train in Jersey in the summers, and he trains with Tony Rasiopi as well, our quarterback coach. So he flew out. I think we threw like once or twice. I was doing my stuff in Cleveland. He was doing his stuff. It was here. So maybe I got a little sneak peek at it in that training session. But he's awesome. Tony told me nothing but great things, and it's great to have him in the room.
I believe you won a game at Allegiant back in 23 on Monday Night Football. Just what's your thoughts on this journey you're having in the NFL? From there to now playing for the Raiders, and
Yeah, it's awesome. Everyone's journey is different. I don't think it's not a cookie cutter system. The NFL, it's a crazy business. You have to be able to adapt, or you'll be done. So, being fluid, being able to pick up things on the fly, learn playbooks, learn systems, be able to go out there and play fast. So I think the experience I've had in the past is helping me with that. Move along quickly. But like I said, just taking a day at a time, being where my feet are, and being all in on the process and where I'm at.
We saw you on your first day interacting with Coach Carroll, talking about your gloves and everything like that.
Yeah.
Coach Carroll loves his gloves. What was that conversation like?
Yeah, no, Coach is awesome, man. He's got a lot of energy. He pulled something the team needed that was cracking up, like fake stories. I thought guys told these like sob stories and he just created the whole thing on the fly. Made a new guy go up there and like thought he was nervous, thought he was gonna have to say a whole like sob story, and then he sent him back. So just the energy, he keeps it lively, and you just want to go out there and cut it loose because that's the kind of coach he is. You're not playing tight, which is awesome to have. So it's been a joy to be here for these first 2 days. I think it's been. So I'm having a lot of fun.
What did you learn from being in the Philadelphia Eagles organization, them being a championship team?
Yeah, just they showed me just the process to become a champion. Like every single day, I understood it from the front office to the coaching staff to the players. Everything's connected. You're doing everything for a reason. There are no questions on what the standard is, and I think having that, seeing it day by day, where if a guy gets out of line a little bit, the whole team's there to stop him back in, and we're going again. So the main goal was the Super Bowl. Everyone's goal was that, from first on the depth chart to third. Guys were working hard, staying after practice, staying extra in meetings. There's no secret to be great. So that when you have that throughout the roster, throughout the team, you'll find those results on Sundays.
Came in on the same day as Amari Cooper, a bit of an older player. Just what has it been like working with one of your receivers, kind of getting acclimated to this new offense?
Yeah, obviously I'm staying in town. I got to find a place to live. And then we're going to be here every day, and he wants to throw and get in the classroom, talk through routes. So it'll be great to have him, like you said, a veteran guy, veteran receiver, that I can kind of talk through these reads, progressions, timing on routes, because I'm still trying to get honed in on those.
Just to add to that, how much are you looking forward to working with Brock Bowers?
Yeah, he's a special player. Obviously I watched him when he was in college, and now being here on the practice field, I got to throw him in one-on-ones. The things he does at the top of the route to create separation is different than a lot of guys, around the league. The guy finds ways to get open. He knows coverage. Being here 2 days, watching him find voids in zone. He's an impressive guy, impressive player. So glad he's on our side.
Good. Cool. Thanks.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.